Come on, Blue Mage, what you gonna do? Yep, Lynx. You've got it. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so we'll just get fancy. We'll bounce Green Warden, we'll cast Green Warden, we'll fight one of his creatures, and we'll get a Clutch Occurrence back with Green Warden, and then we will bounce the other creature. Don't get fancy, just get dancy. Why so serious? Alrighty, close that out. Yeah, I didn't have, let me think. If I had Awakened Lumbering Falls, yeah, that could have worked. Let me think. I was 1 mana short of doing Clutch and Awakened Lumbering Falls, so I think I was still a mana short. Maybe I'm crazy. But maybe I missed that. I remember not directly thinking about using the Lumbering Falls. It was gonna be attacking with Lumbering Falls in one other land, and I was 1 land short, so maybe I was short. Maybe I was not short for that line. Maybe that line could have been lethal. Which is surprising, you know, I thought I looked over everything, and you can still miss something. That's magic. That is magic. I really thought I took a minute and checked everything, but options, options, options. So many options. I will have to look for that one next time. Alright, Jason the Wasteland, let's see who we get. Maybe another ramp deck or something that's gonna be dangerous. Maybe some red aggro, some Thopters, Hydrox. Yes, please. We'll see where this goes. And what's our opponent got for us? This hand might be too slow. We're really hoping to draw some ramp spell for the in-between, like a Pilgrimage or an Acid Moss, and we would love it very soon, because it's going to be a big gap between where we're at turn 2 and turn 6 when we get to really do some proactive plays if we don't draw one of those. Our opponent might just be too slow, though, to do anything about it. Looks like we're going to play some green-white, and we're going to pass. If it's another ramp deck, I am happy about that. I built this deck, in case you're just joining us, to beat other ramp decks. That's really what it wants to do. And of course, you know, I definitely didn't put enough testing into it, or as much as I would have liked, because the very first round I played with it in the iOS tournament, I lost to a ramp deck. A green-red ramp deck, which, you know, I've personally said 100 times is the best way to play ramp. Let's get some options. That's a good option. I don't really like playing this on 4 against green because of Reclamation Sage. It's just a big blowout, and our opponent isn't giving us much to do. But I still think we can safely drop a forest here since we're going to go get some more. But we definitely wanted to draw that Pilgrimage there. Like I was saying earlier, bridge the gap into our 6 mana plays, which are coming right up. Or we could do that one. We'll see. What does our opponent have? Has some black, so Abzan retreat. Okay, game on. Game on. Now that we know a bit about the deck, let's loot and try to get the best turn possible. There's cards like Drowner that would be even better. We're not going to need this, I don't think, but we need a forest even less if that's the case. I think I'd rather have that than a forest. Yeah, okay. Let's get Sower down there and start pressuring our opponent as they set up their retreat power. And we get one land, so let's see what our opponent's up to. Reprisal, good to see that gone. Vampiric Rites, Herald of the Pantheon. So this looks like the Legend Enchantment Castle, you know, bouncy enchantment castle deck, I like to say. It's like an inflatable castle deck. But just put out a bunch of enchantments and get a bunch of effects and bounce around with them. I don't know, that's the right visual for me. It works for me. And he doesn't have a land, that's a big deal. That's probably a big deal. And we have this guy. So what's the play now? It's very tempting to fire off a renewal and just not have mana problems for a long time, but I think we can have a better turn with Pilgrimage from Beyond. And we might have a best turn. We want to hit our land drops for sure. Let's loot and see what comes up. A Lumbering Falls. So we're going to hit our land drop. I think we can drop this off now, because I think the best turn is to disperse from Beyond, play our own from Beyond, drop a land, flip Jace, yeah, and then we can renewal in the future. Yeah. Okay, Jace doesn't flip this turn. It would have if I dispersed first. Oh well. Let's get that out. Let's get that out. Not really a screw up since I didn't know I was going to draw the Lumbering Falls. And flipping Jace next turn is about the same. It really doesn't make a big difference in the game. What's Abzan Retreat? If you want to see the guy who kind of made this deck and put it out there, search for Legend on YouTube, but it's spelled Legend, but it goes NVD at the end. I don't know why. There's a V in there, so L-E... I'm not going to try to spell on camera. I'll screw it up because I'm thinking too hard. Never mind. You don't want to hear my spelling. But search for Legend, except it's NVD at the end. And he has an Abzan list, and this looks like it's that list. Although I don't remember. I think he has Planar Outburst. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. We're just going to try to get into that Ulamog zone here. And we're going to use Kiora to help us get there. Pilgrimage, Nissa's Pilgrimage, you know, gets us plenty of force, so I always fetch islands with my other cards. Don't think we're at risk of that costing us anything at this point. And we have a concession. Okay. So I'm guessing there isn't like an Angelic Edict in the deck right now to take out our Ulamog, but we'll see. Blood Curse Knight, yeah, that's in the Legend deck. So it's an Abzan enchantment list. I'm not a fan of it, but if it's your type of thing, by all means, enjoy. So what's our land count? So 12. So even without a Kiora activation, we can fetch and cast Ulamog. So we're going to tick Kiora down and see if we can dig up Ulamog on our own. Nope. Okay. And you're not from Beyond. And we'll just start hitting lands. And that puts our opponent pretty much way behind the list. Stringer knows what we're talking about. Can you either put a link to that video or just put how to spell Legend's name in the chat for anybody interested, Stringer? I would appreciate it. Thank you. So people, who are more interested in an Abzan enchantments list than a Simic Ramp list can go check that out. But, I do think it's pretty bad against Ramp, as we're kind of seeing right here. Oh, man. It's brutal, but I have to do it. It's one of the things that I love about this deck, that it just locks the opponent out of the game pretty brutally here. Hey, Lupe. Hey. It is at least, I don't know how competitive it is, but it's a decently built list with synergy, so it's a good game. I just don't think it can really compete with stuff like this going on. Oops, meant to hit 2 lands. Oh well. Probably won't matter at this point. Yeah, I guess Stringer was around to watch me fumble around trying to build this deck. I did not realize the list was in the description, as he points out now. Alright, yeah, this is... for funsies, guys. For funsies. Anyway, if you need the deck list, I've got it turned over in Exile right over here. It's got some of these, a little of this, and a bit of that. Yeah, looks like the same thing. Sorry, Legend deck, I have smashed you with my little creation. Mostly because it has cards like Ulamog in it. Loopy178, how am I? I've had a pretty bad couple of days. It seems like I can't go online right now without getting an opponent who casts Acid Moss, and then Omnath, and then Nissa's Renewal, while I lack any way to deal with it. That's happened to me so many times in the last few days, it is starting to blow my mind. However, aside from that, I'm doing very well. And also, aside from that, I need to go take a quick break and use the restroom, and then I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, thanks for bearing with me, hopefully. Without checking my viewer count to see if anybody actually did. Happy Martin Luther King Day all. Indeed. Indeed. Happy Martin Luther King Day here in the U.S., since I'm sure we have some international folks on there. We have these bank holidays that they're kind of referred to as bank holidays. I think that's a normal term, where banks and government employees seem to get the day off, and everyone on Wall Street, whereas the rest of us who, kind of hold down